Hello, hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and Oregon Live, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Chiara Profena. Together we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And today we're looking at some pretty big changes that are coming to Oregon state parks in 2026.
That's right, from fee increases to some new rules, from campground reservations, there are a bunch of changes in store for state park visitors this year. And it all stems from a looming budget shortfall that has had the State Parks Department looking for more sources of money. Here to talk to us all about that today is Interim Parks Director Stefanie Coons. Stefanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, let's quickly, I want to address the interim role here. So Lisa Sumption has been the Parks Director and is still the Parks Director. Is that right?
Well, so she is moved over as an interim to the Department of Transportation. So she's kind of over there, and I'm filling in for the interim director here at Parks.
Gotcha. It's not like Stefanie is, or not, I'm sorry, it's not that Lisa is gone. She's coming back at some point, and you're filling in for her until that point.
That's the intent and hopefully our expectations on that. But there's a lot going on with the Department of Transportation. So we're hoping to get her back as soon as possible.
All right. Well, I'm really glad that you're here to talk to us about this. It's a lot going on at state parks as well. So I think to just get folks started, because I know that money has sort of been at the heart of a lot of this here. For folks who don't know how state parks is funded, how does that system all work for funding?
So right now we have the way our fees are broken out. We have lottery funding that we get, and then we get income in from registrations, the registration vehicle registrations, and then park user fees. So things like overnight camping, reservations, day use parking. And so that's what we get. We're not like most other state agencies that get general funding. So those are our three resources that we have. And of course, understanding that, and we'll talk about budget and all that probably a little bit later, but our expenses are outweighing the revenues that we bring in to what the shortfall that we're having.
And can you tell us a little bit about the budget shortfall and kind of what it's affecting?
Well, I think I kind of liken it to like if we're doing like a home project, or if you're getting a place built and you set aside a certain amount of dollars in order to do that. And then as you start to sort of dive into the project, the construction fees, all those things, materials, those costs continue to increase, kind of like with our homes and our heat bills that continue to go up. We're experiencing the same thing in parks. So it's really expensive to take care and maintenance of our properties, and then we have staff who also who work to maintain these as well. And I think so. What we're running into is the parks we're still trying to operate them, but the cost to do it has gone through the roof. So that's what's creating our shortfall.
Yeah, and I imagine too with that because you're funded primarily through the lottery, it's not like it's a matter of just going to the legislature and saying, hey, can we get a little bit more money this year, because they don't fund you, right? So the lottery, you're relying on this outside source of people to be participating in order to get more money from that.
Right. And with lottery funding not being stable, I think it does put us in a predicament where we're struggling financially.
I know the number of the shortfall, how much money you're looking at is sort of something that's changing all the time, as I understand it. Can you tell us where that stands right now, or roughly speaking?
Well, I know last fall we were around 14 million, but right now I don't have any numbers for you right now to let you know today kind of where we're at, but we will continue to monitor that. And we should have some additional numbers probably coming up soon.
It feels like a pretty hefty shortfall, and so I imagine a lot of it's going to be affecting people visiting state parks. So can you tell us a bit about the fees that are increasing in 2026?
So there are some parking fees that we have increased, and camping fees, and then also we've increased our fees for out-of-state visitors as well.
Yeah, I know the parking used to cost $5 per vehicle at just a sort of a couple dozen parks around the state. and that's now $10 per vehicle. And there's another 22 parks that sort of added that parking fee that didn't previously have a parking fee, right?
Right, that's correct. And then also our annual passes have also increased as well.
Mm-hmm. That's the annual passes. That's where people could get a 12-month pass that basically would cover all your parking fees, or they could get a 2-year pass. And my understanding is that that 2-year pass has been discontinued.
Right, so we no longer have a 2-year pass available.
Gotcha.
Just our annual passes. And then understanding that parks hasn't increased any fees for quite some time, and because of that, understanding that people see it for the first time and they think, wow, this is pretty significant. But because we haven't raised fees, it's important that we start taking a look at those things as we're looking at our financial stability, being transparent. And then also the understanding that raising fees isn't what's going to bring us out of debt, but those are just small wins that we can do for the short term until we come up with a financial plan long term.
Mm-hmm.
And are all of the parking fee increases already currently established, or are they going to go up at some point in the next few months?
So they're established for right now. And I have a quick question for you, though. So do you have annual passes?
I do, yeah.
I don't.
Are you going to get one?
I probably should. I guess I don't visit the parks as often as would seem I would need one, but it's probably a good idea to have.
Mm-hmm. I still have a 2-year pass that I'm on the 2nd year of, so I know that's rolling over.
Yes, that is rolling over. Well, you should get a pass. I encourage you to do that and come check out the parks. And then also just about fees, there may be more coming in the future. We don't know right now. We're taking a look at what are we doing with the financial situation, and then also trying to understand and balance equity and accessibility during all this as well. Because like I said, the answer isn't just to increase all the fees. That's not the purpose of it. We still want to make sure that the customers have a good experience with us, but also understand that we can't continue to operate under the revenue that we're generating at this point.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the list of the 22 parks that are getting those parking fees that previously did not charge a parking fee. And it looks like it's largely parks on the coast, Beverly Beach and, Harris Beach. Just really Oswald West, all these places on the coast, as well as some spots, that the folks might recognize, some other parts, Prineville Reservoir, Tryon Creek right here in Portland. It seems like there's a lot of these sort of more popular parks that some folks might be surprised to even find that there'd be free parking. I mean, Oswald West is one of the most popular parks in the state. When I saw that it was on the list of new parking fees, I was a little bit surprised because I guess I hadn't really thought about it. But yeah, Oswald West hasn't been charging parking fees this whole time.
Yeah, I think what we did is we took a look at our parks that had more of the amenities in them, like the restrooms and the showers and things like that. So those are things that we took in consideration when we chose the parks. And then also just the maintenance of the areas, the parks that needed more work, needed more maintenance. So those were also, so we did sit down and take a look at where does it make sense right now to increase any fees that we're having? And then also what would those funds go towards?
Well, I want to talk about the campgrounds a little bit too here, because I know that camping fees are something else that went up. It looks like, the sort of the top rate of tent sites, RV sites, yurts, cabins, you name it. It seems like everywhere people can expect to pay a little bit more to go camping in Oregon State Parks.
So I think as we start talking about some of the fees, we do have fee ranges that we can consider in doing it, which will give us a little bit more flexibility. And then also taking in consideration what are the amenities around the parks that we would want to take advantage of. And it's not always the most expensive places as well.
Yeah. So the other, I think, playing into this when it comes to campground and really all of this we're talking about, there was a rule change that was made recently about Division 15. It was Division 15 rulemaking process. when I hear that, I immediately am just like, what in the world is Division 15? I know it can get a little complicated, but I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about what's going on there in that Division 15 rulemaking.
Well, I think so. Some of the things it really refers to the rates and reservations. So it's part of our agency rules. And then we're looking at also adopting better cancellation policies. So we've heard from visitors when they go into one of our campgrounds and they see these empty spots, but they're reserved. So we want to put something in place so that any of those who had made reservations, they could cancel out of those so that we can have them available for any customers that would want to reserve those spots. And then also we're looking at refining some of our past programs to see what we can do as far as that. We're looking at a dynamic pricing structure as well. So maybe increasing prices during the busier times of the year. And then also looking at decreasing the prices maybe towards the winter or the fall seasons that are just kind of off.
And these are all changes that you're currently considering and haven't been put into effect yet. Is that right?
So at this time that we're going to look and see, the public comment was closed on it. So we are going to take it to our February commission to just confirm what those will look like.
Yeah, my understanding is you have like these various fee ranges where like the idea is that the state park spot wants to have more flexibility to charge money, a different amount of money for parking, for camping, depending on season, depending on the financial outlook of the department. I mean, when I was looking sort of at these numbers of those ranges proposed in the Division 15 changes, I mean, looking at parking fees that could be a lot higher than what people are normally paying, and camping fees are a lot higher. Like the top end seems to be potentially going up a lot. But my understanding is that you're not saying, oh, we're going to start paying, charging, $50 a day or $25 a day to park, right? I mean, that's just an idea that if you needed to charge that much, then you could.
Correct. We just want to make sure that we have like a range in place so that there is flexibility around any decisions that we would make around that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And another aspect of state parks that we've known about for a while are the annual free days. So Green Friday and New Year's Day are no longer free days. Can you tell us a bit about what went into that decision?
Of course I can, sure. Right now, we're actually examining what more we can do to be able to provide equity for people who visit our parks. So the purpose of this wasn't to take things away from our visitors' experience, but is really looking at where can we look at some of our programs and what we can offer for free with our current financial situation that they're in. And then it really is only with free parking, right? Many parks still are free. So you can still park at many of our parks for free.
I mean, state parks hasn't had like a robust fee-free day schedule. I know Metro, for example, or Washington State Parks, they have like a lot of free days, but those because a lot of the Washington State Parks, I want to say, are all fee parks and have had sort of this higher parking fee. But state parks, you've always sort of said look, most of our parks, the vast majority of our parks are free. The parking has been pretty low, but now as you're sort of increasing the parking fee and you're increasing the number of parks that charge it, of course, it's not by a lot. Still, the vast majority of the parks are free. I mean, have you considered oh, hey, are we going to, change up? Are we going to add more free days if we're going to be charging more to park? Or, yeah, I guess how do you address that equity situation that you were just speaking of?
And I think that's just the ongoing work that we're doing. So we have 250 parks right now. So determining what will that look like, that's where we're gathering information and data so that we can make sure that what we are doing is equitable. We also have an engagement team here at OPRD that they're taking a look at what can we do with these programs and how can we offer and be more equitable to people.
And so another thing coming up in 2026 that we've been hearing a little bit about is construction projects that have been put on hold, specifically Silver Falls, Smith Rock, and what's really happening in those projects right now? What can you tell us about those changes?
So I think as we're taking a look at our financial situation as well, we did receive a $50 million bond in 2021 to do some of our capital projects. And even though we had those, we were able to get several projects completed. And then we still have some projects that are underway. So we were able to complete Beverly Beach, Nehalem Bay, Silver Falls, and Fort Stevens. And so the projects that are underway is Cape Lookout, Fort Stevens, Silver Falls, and then we're also going to pause on Kamwa Chung, Smith Rock, and then Shampooey Park as well. So those are tough decisions to have to make because they do need some work. But also there's backlog that we have, maintenance backlog that we also need to try to tend to too. And our infrastructures are just, there's an increasing demand, and we can't allocate more money towards those funds and those projects right now. We just can't do it. So that's why we're determining which projects were really in route or in movement, and then which ones can we pause on. So just taking a look at what we can remove and what we can continue to do. We just can't build more. We just don't. We can't be sustainable that way, and we don't have the funds to do it. So we're trying to take care of what we kind of started and what we have right now, and then determine at a later date what are some other projects that we can take on.
I know that at Silver Falls, at Kamwachung, and at Smith Rock, those three in particular, we're looking at like big new visitor centers. Like you said, that's very different than saying, hey, we need to address the maintenance backlog we have at some of these other parks. So that decision just sort of, like, hey, let's take care of this stuff. Let's fix the things that we have as opposed to like, let's build new things.
Right,
That
exactly.
will take more maintenance.
And it's very spendy
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why, adding on addition to your house when you need to fix the foundation of the house that exists.
Right. And I think that was like the home renovation where you start to do it and then the costs just slowly creep up. And it's not like we have the bucket of money that we can pull in and help with these expenses. So they just tend to get paused because we aren't able to afford them and sustain them. And these are the iconic places that we love, and we're not able to keep them up as we would love to be able to.
Can we expect to see those construction projects that have been put on hold continue in the future, or are they just kind of done indefinitely? What is the status of them, I guess?
Well, this is where we are really, and maybe this is something that you can help us with, but we're looking for partners. We need partners to come and help us see what this would look like. I think that would be the most important thing, working with our communities or just different agencies or businesses that would be willing to help us take a look and see what can we do to keep these things going, because we can't do it internally. So we would need some partnerships. So do you know of anyone? Any ideas on who'd be some great partners for parks? Because I know you have a lot of connections.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone listening is interested in doing those partnerships, I know that state parks, y'all have talked about what are some private public partnerships we can do at places, what are some vendors you can get in there. I know that I talked to Lisa Sumption about this last year, about sort of reimagining the park experience. If you sort of look at these ideas of bringing in vendors into places, what could that look like? And it sounds like, people in 2026 and really in the future should have this idea of reimagining the state park experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Lisa Sumption has done a really good job. So it's kind of nice to come in behind her to continue this good work. But we also did a survey where we heard from 5,000 responders that they want to see more collaboration. So that, I think that's pretty nice. I think there's a large group of people who understand probably how we're financed, and then also understanding that we do need to probably collaborate more with partners on being successful in what we do. We know we love our parks, but lots of people loves the parks as well. So they've had very good experiences in our parks. You can hear stories all day of the good things that's happening. And then I believe also that those same people can help us find some good partners as well. And there's some great partners out there, and we would love to talk with them because I think they're just beautiful places, diverse places within the state, and we want to protect this for many generations to come.
Well, it sounds like although there are a lot of changes coming and some that people might interpret as negative or maybe obstacles, there are a lot of changes coming in the future, and we're very hopeful about, things getting to a better place financially for y'all. So kind of just, is there anything that people can look forward to in 2026? Any big changes or features in parks that people should be excited about?
Yeah, there's tons of them. I think that when you raise fees, I think that's what people tend to just hone in on, that because no one likes that. But unfortunately, just around the world, all costs are increasing. So it's not just here at parks. But I think we are doing a deep dive just to reimagine what state parks could look like. We are internally doing things like assessments, looking at what we're doing as far as work and how do we be efficient and do things, so we're not overlapping in work and efforts that we're doing. So we're looking internal to see what we can do differently, and then external, reaching out to partners, getting feedback from customers to find out what is it that they want. What do they want their experience to look like in our parks? And then we're looking at our finances as well, like we're doing things like not traveling as much. So we're limiting our travel. And then also we are looking, when we hire positions, we're going to postpone hiring so that we can have some vacancy savings. So we're trying to look internal as well to see what we can do. A lot of changes that are going to be good will be for our operations, but our visitors aren't going to see a lot of changes. So there's not a lot that's going to change for them, except for they're going to continue to have that same excellent memories and things that they had a blast with families. They're going to continue to see that. We're also excited about being able to hire some seasonals coming soon. So that's where you get to see some of the faces you've seen before and then welcome the new faces that are coming back as well. So there's a lot of things that's coming. And like I said, I'm on day 24 here as an interim director. And I think the staff are very passionate about ensuring that we're doing what we can as an agency to maintain that visitors experience while they're here, but also understanding that we need some financial stability. And so it's really hard knowing that for the staff that, wow, our finances aren't so good and we're going to still try to do what we can to provide the best service we can. And then also, I think just moving forward, we're going to make sure that those who do come visit our parks are going to have a good experience. Have either of you been camping at the parks?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you love it? And what do you love about it?
I mean, for me, the state parks, it's always the experience is always just so neat and orderly. I mean, we talked, we were in a meeting here that we're going to recently talking about state park bathrooms, and how they're always so clean. And like I feel like I've been to no knock on California state parks, but their bathrooms were Oregon's bathrooms are head and shoulders above when I've seen other places, and that's a kind of a small thing, but when it comes to being comfortable in campgrounds, that's huge, and it always feels sort of safe and clean in state parks.
Right.
And that's I don't know, for me that's a big part of it.
And that's huge, Amy, because I think that's what we hear. We always hear that our bathrooms are clean, and that's one of the things that's always in the customer surveys. And then also free showers. So that's a good thing as well. So I think we're doing a lot. It's just being transparent. The financial situation does not look good. It doesn't look good, and so we're trying to figure out what do we do right now. So we're just working through that as a team, and then we're also trying to figure out an outreach, what that can look like too. But we want to make sure that we take care of our special places as best as possible. And I think in this role here too, prior to this role, I was the Deputy Director for Central Business Services. And so really looking at the business administration side of it. And so now in this position, you take a look with the bigger lens, right? So now you're looking at the whole department and what we're doing. And I think too, one of the things that I don't want to lose sight of is our parks are our most special places, but then there's the behind the scenes work that needs to happen as well. So we do have central business services. So those are the staff who work on like information systems, our human resources, which includes recruitment. And then also we have procurement, administration, communications, marketing, branding, and then government relations and policies. So we have folks behind the scenes who make sure that they keep us running like a really good business on one end. And then we also have field and community services, which is the groups around the State Historic Preservation Office that's there for our historical sites, the real estate. So we have programs, grants. There's a lot that happens within parks. And I just want to make sure that people understand that, not just focus on our parks and we're raising fees, but there's a lot of work going on within this department that makes me totally excited about not only being here for 2 years, but serving 24 days as the interim. And I don't want to also miss like our ATVs. So that's pretty big that's here. So there's a big bucket of things that we do that's very impressive that I think don't get highlighted as much as it should. And all of that comes together in us being able to provide the best customer experience in our parks. So our goal is to maintain and keep these places special as best as possible, and then keep access for the future. That's what we look forward to. But we also want to be clear on our finances and make sure we're transparent about that.
All right, well, Stefanie, well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today, especially just 24 days in the job. We really appreciate you stopping by. Well, folks, that will do it for us for today. Until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonians YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as HereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoy the show. And if you want to support this podcast as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find details at OregonLive.com/subscribe. Also, if you're a fan of the show and you're interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@oregonian.com. This episode of the show was produced by me alongside Jamie Hale, Teresa Mahoney, and Vicki Connor.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.